Hi there, my name is Shelby, or Pop Tart Barbie, or Emo Filled Cupcake, whatever name you want to give me. And I am here to try to read some creepypasta stories to you guys because I've been told I've got a nice voice and that I should read stories. So, for those of you guys who like my voice, here it is. The first short story that we're going to read is called Darkness in the Rearview Mirror, and I am just getting these from a little creepypasta site. So, yeah, here we go. In the summer of 2013, I found myself driving home alone on Highway 902 from a party. It was almost midnight, and needless to say, it was pitch black. As was usual at night, I was on edge. I had the radio off, and I could hear nothing but the muffled roar of the tires on pavement and the dull hum of the engine. I stole a glance into the middle rearview mirror, and I saw nothing but darkness through the black window. I know that I looked backwards and saw nothing. I'm sure of it, just the seemingly endless blackness of the night. I remember it so clearly because not 10 seconds later, a car passed me to the left, headlights on, and I had one of those sudden adrenaline rushes, like when you think you see a person outside your bedroom window, when it's just a tree, or when you startle awake at night with the feeling of falling. 10 seconds earlier, nothing had been behind me. Suddenly, a car? I drove the rest of the long way home, shivering, knowing something was off. The next morning, I found two sets of scratches near the back of my van. One was on the rear left, one was on the rear right. The car was pretty old. They could have been there for a long time, months even. But that was the first time I distinctly remember seeing them. In the hindsight, there were two possibilities for what happened that night. Possibility one: there was some glitch in reality or something paranormal. This other car had somehow appeared behind me within 10 seconds of me checking my mirror, like some weird ghost crap or something. However, the second option is what makes my blood run cold whenever I consider it. It didn't even occur to me until months after the fact, but it makes me dread driving alone at night even more. Possibility 2. The car was normal. It had approached me from the rear and passed me to my left. However, something large and wide and as black as the night had been clinging to the rear of my car, obscuring my view through the window and leaving deep scratches on the sides. And I had inadvertently driven it home with me. I think that one is interesting. It's kind of dark and eerie, you know? All right, now this story is called Instant Messaging. It all started on the 14th night of March, the night of my parents' 20th wedding anniversary. It was a wonderful sunny day, if memory serves. Surprisingly warm for before the beginning of spring. The beautiful weather was perfect for the atmosphere of the day. Being married for 20 years is obviously a monumentous occasion, so my parents had booked a table at their favorite Italian restaurant. Of course, this was a formal occasion, so I had my best suit on. It was 5:33 and I was just straightening my tie when my phone went off. I'd received a message. That's strange, I thought. That never happens. I checked the message. It was from my mom. It was quite a jumble of numbers and letters, but through the vocabulary, I could make out a legible phrase. Please, help me. It should go without saying that this worried me greatly, so I immediately replied, "Are you okay?" Just as instantly, I got another text which read, "Oops, pocket text." I sighed with all the relief I had and continued to prepare myself. A few minutes later, I received yet another message. This time, it was from my dad. I checked the text, and once again, it was a massive mixture of letters and numbers, with the phrase, "Please, help me," concealed within. Creepy though this was, my dad was always a joker, so I presumed this was just joking around until I was sent another text saying, "Oops, pocket text." Now, this sparked panic. Pure, unmistakable panic. Exactly half a minute passed when I received the exact same message from my sister. This could not be coincidental. It just couldn't. In a state of sheer anxiety, I started to run to the restaurant. I made it about a quarter of the way before I was stopped by a police officer. Main road's closed, he said. Huge car crash. This was the exact moment I realized just what happened. I demanded to see the wreckage, a request I'm surprised I was allowed. When I got there, it wasn't the remnants of the car that caught my eye. Not the flames billowing from the destroyed vehicle. No. I was horrified to see the lifeless corpses of my mother, father, and sister. I asked for the estimated time of their deaths. All three of them were killed instantly by the collision at 5:32. Well, that one was very dramatic, and I don't know how I feel about it. I don't know how I feel about it on the first read there. That sounds like a really scary thing. I don't even know what I would do if I got like a panicky text, you know? I guess, "Are you okay?" It's the correct response. There's really not much you can do. All right, let's see what is next. I think we are going to read a final story, and we're going to read I Sat on the Bus. I sat on the bus on my way to school, listening to music and paying little to no attention to the other students. At one of the stops, my mind snapped back to reality. I looked towards the small house, Tommy's house, I thought. A hand slipped through the drapes of the window and waved the bus driver to move on. He's sick, I thought, paying no large amount of attention to the situation. The day flew by. I watched the local news channel after school, and what I heard paralyzed me. Tommy's entire family was murdered that day by an unknown suspect. After hearing this news, I moved back up to my room and quietly fell asleep. The next day, I sat on the bus. We drove past Tommy's house, and the bus driver, unaware of Tommy's family's fate, stopped at his home. As I was about to get up and explain to her what had happened, something caught my eye. A pale hand slipped through the drapes of the window and waved the bus driver to move on. I sat on the bus, terrified.